Today we have a little bit different video. I don't know if anybody that has been following the channel has noticed this, but we have been selected for round 3 of the DIYTuber competition. What that means is DIY Detail is going to put us alongside 3 other up and growing channels and a panel of judges and people who we don't know that are following the channel are going to put us head to head to head with each other, and they're going to pick a winner. And it's more about bragging rights than anything. We didn't really win anything, but this has just helped grow our channel and have some fun along the way. So this is the first video in this 8 to 10 part series. I don't exactly remember how long it's going to be, but this is the first video. And this is all about me, my background, who we are as a channel, who the business is. And for me as a person, my background goes all the way back to the beginning of the early 90s, getting out of vocational school, getting my first job in a body shop. And my first job in a body shop, even though I love painting cars and I did have a skill at that, was detailing cars, and we had to start somewhere. So we started there, or I started there. And as time went on, I remember it was my day off. Got a call from my boss at the time, and he told me to get my ass out of bed, that, it wasn't my day off anymore, that they fired the painter to wake up, get dressed, and I was going to be the painter. And I painted cars and had my own shop, and I wish the technology age is what it is today, so I could showcase just all the stuff I've ever painted and all the cool things I've ever done. But sadly, this is a different day than when I got started in the early 90s. And I know I have photos of stuff somewhere. Sadly, I don't have any photos of that stuff. But I did that for about 13 years or so. And a few years before I quit doing it, my first love is music. Obviously, if I have a detailing business and I used to paint cars, I have a passion for cars and vehicles as a whole. But my first passion is music. And around 2004 to 5, I started to become friends with a band from Texas, who is nationally known. I'm sure everybody and their brother has heard the song Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by the band Drowning Pool. And as time went on, hanging out in Dallas and getting to know those guys, I worked myself into a job. And since music is my first love, and not everybody gets to tour professionally for a living, that is truly a privilege. Um, I would have to say that is just as much a privilege as having a successful YouTube channel. It's not something everybody gets to do. It's not everybody succeeds in, but I did that for 12 years. And whether it was, being a guitar tech or slinging merch, I did that for 12 years. And I've got countless stories that there's just not enough time in a 10 to 20-minute video for me to go through all the things that are all about me. But myself as a touring professional, I had been out with so many bands, and I have toured with everybody from Creed to Godsmack to Shinedown to Drowning Pool to Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, the list is countless, and I don't want to name drop. It's not what it's about, but it was truly a privilege to do that for 12 years. And I was on tour around 2018, and my then 3-year-old FaceTimed me on his iPad, and I was in Salt Lake City or Denver or Montana or wherever the hell I was. And he said to me, "Daddy, are you at home?" And that really struck a nerve with me. He really tugged on the heartstrings when he said that. So I knew when I got back, at least for this temporary time that we've gone into today, my touring career was on hold. I wanted to watch my kids grow up. I'm a family man. I want to watch my kids grow up. It's the formative years. And I've still gotten to be able to do a few music things along the way that have kept me home. So I'm getting into sound production now. And, but that's another video, Uh, but as myself is the business, and everything that I've done, I've always had this niche for cars. I've always had this eye that I love making things shiny. And I guess that comes from my painting days. I still love to paint. That stuff is horrible to be around, and I love making stuff shiny. So I started a detailing business in 2018, and when I first started the channel, I did it as a business plug. Just one of those things that I was trying to showcase, especially the wild jobs. I remember one in particular. If you go back to the early days of the channel, we had a customer come to us. He found a 96 Impala SS, been sitting in a field for like a decade. Surprisingly, it was not a rust bucket, but it did not look like it only had 11,000 miles on it. It looked like somebody had wet sanded this thing and just left it sitting outside. I swear to God, that's what it looked like. And we were able to save everything but the roof and the spoiler on the trunk lid. I wish we could have saved that and he wouldn't have had to have gotten those painted. But the turnaround on that was absolutely insane. And I'm sure some of you are like, whoa, wait a minute, let's go back to the touring thing. Well, I'll touch briefly on a few things on that. Um, I'm sitting in front of a green screen. I can put a few pics and a few video behind me. Um, Sadly, in 2004, one of the greatest heavy metal guitarists of all time from the band Pantera was shot and killed on stage by a crazed fan in Columbus, Ohio. About 6 weeks before he was killed, it was my first roadie job for the band's rounding pole. Dimebag pulled myself and a buddy of mine out on stage with about 20 other people, and that was the last time that Dime had ever played his hometown of Dallas. So I'm going to try to put a video clip of that in behind me. Hopefully this works like I want to. And here is me on stage with Dime. As you can see, there is a kid with a Drowning Pool Texas flag shirt on and short hair. My hair isn't so short anymore, but that right there is me. Something I go to Dime's grave all the time, and I always get emotional there because he never knew my name. And there's a picture of all of us together with Mike the drummer at Drowning Pool back in 2004. And that's something I take to heart. I get really emotional. I go to Dime's grave because I know he was taken from us way too soon. And as some of you may know, I'm moving the business to Texas, and this is another full circle story. And I'm not trying to be too scattered here. This is definitely the first video I've done about myself, about the business, who we are. So if this is a little scattered, I apologize. And I'll touch on two more things on the touring thing, and then I'll get back to about the business. Just about a month ago, I was in Dallas, and here's a clip of me singing on stage with the Drowning Pool guys. You know, we've been a family for a long time. It just makes sense that I would move someplace where it's warm, and they typically don't get snow. And this last thing here is a picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time. On stage at a festival in 2012 outside Charlotte, North Carolina, a festival called Carolina Rebellion. I'm the guitar tech for the band Adelita's Way, and I am standing on stage in front of 80,000 people. And this is only one half of these two stadium-sized stages. Right to my right is another band after we got done. This is the band Hailstorm, and you know, it's just one of those things that I've worn many hats. I've lived a few lives, and that one I could talk about until I am absolutely blue in the face because I love talking about stuff, whether it's music or cars or products or way to do things. And that segues me right back into the channel here. Like I said, when we first started the channel, it was all about what we could do. And you can only regurgitate that stuff so much and it gets boring, whether it's a movie trailer or a turnaround, it does eventually get stale. And about a year ago, I decided that we should start reviewing at least products that we love, products that we've tried and either hate or maybe love, or something new that's out there. And the one product that really caught my eye that not a single YouTube detailing channel out there had reviewed. The last time I checked, nobody else has reviewed it yet either. And it's still kind of surprising. Angel Wax, a company a lot of us have heard of, came out with a heavy cut compound. And I realize this is about DIY, but this is how the channel really started to take off. Um, I decided I wanted to try the Resurrection Extreme, their extreme heavy cut for hard, stubborn clear coats, and nobody had done a video on it. And this went on for like 6 months. And I finally decided one day, it's like, I need to get a review on this stuff. I need to get it out there. I love this stuff. This stuff is awesome. The only thing I like about it, it's a little bit runny. But other than that, the stuff, I basically took 600 grit scratches out of a hood with a rotary. I wouldn't recommend sanding anything with 600, but I was putting it to the extreme test. It damn near took out 600 grit scratches out of a hood, which is just absolutely unbelievable. So fast forward to today, along the way, we've done we've done headlight restoration kit videos and reviews on products and how we've done things with such as the C6 lifetime coatings or any other coatings or certain ways to do things, whether it is cement removal. I've got a video that's going to drop here in the next couple days. I got to get together. My fiance evidently drove through road paint, and road paint usually gets hard, but this road paint was kind of gummy and it was kind of strange. I couldn't figure out exactly what it was at first until I got the passenger side of the vehicle, and along with the white, I saw a little bit of yellow up in the fender liner, and then I knew for sure that it was most likely road paint. I still don't know where we got it, uh, but we are trying to grow our business, grow our channel. I am moving the business to Texas. Um, like I said, that's a full circle thing. I've been trying to get her to agree to move to Texas for about 3 years. Another friend of mine that is a detailer over in Pennsylvania. Shout out to B&C Detailing. My buddy Bob said that he was ready to move to Florida, and it just flew out of my mouth a couple of years ago. It's like I'm ready to move to Texas, and that really got the ball rolling for me to move the business to Texas. And I don't like to brag. I don't like to brag about myself about all the clear coat knowledge I've got, but I do take to heart that the fact that I was an automotive refinisher for as long as I was. I still hold the AFC certification for refinish technician. That's something I can say that I've held for almost 30 years. There was a little lapse of like 5 years in there after I quit doing it. I decided not to renew it. And a few years ago, I unfortunately had to take a body shop to court for faulty work on a car. I was in a fender bender, and I took it to the local Ford dealership and had problems with the color matching. And then the paint started to fail on the new parts. And when I knew I was going to take them to court because this was just getting ugly, and they acted like I didn't know what I was talking about. They talked down to me. Like I have pictures of it not matching. And if I search back far enough, and if I can find one, I will stick it in behind me right here. There was a ring right here by the mirror. I'm sure you can see it in the photo if it's there. Hopefully it's there and you can see it. So I decided I was going to go take the recertification test, and a lot had changed since I took it the last time. The last time I took it was still on. I'm sure if any of you are old enough out there, you remember doing tests with a pencil. You had to have a number 2 pencil, and it was multiple choice, and they'd run it through a scanner, and you get your results in the mail. Oh, excuse me. Well, for a couple extra bucks, I got to know my results right away because I took it on a computer. And when you know, my knowledge had stuck with me so long that I didn't even study for the test, and I passed. And passing, I believe, is 80% of the questions right or more. And it's only like a 25 question test. So you miss a 3, 4 answers and you're out. It's a very hard test. All the answers are the same with those tests. It's either technician A, technician B, both A and B, or neither A or B. So there's not a lot of wiggle room on your answers. But we are very privileged and excited to be part of the DIYTuber competition. I'm not used to being in front of the camera like this, so this is a little bit new for me to be staring down the lens of a video camera, talking about myself. So if I seem a little nervous up here, I'll be the first one to admit it. You get a couple cocktails in me, I could care less about who's filming or what I'm doing. But when I have to sit down and do it for real, I might get a little bit nervous. But I have gotten better. I've gone back and looked at our videos when we've installed some infotainment.com retrofit kits and Fords or whatever, and I listened to myself talking, and I have seen that I have gotten better. So I am open to criticism all day long. I'm thankful for everybody that's watched our channel, that has subscribed to our channel, and has helped our channel grow. We've really grown our channel in terms of the amount of subscribers that we've had. We gained 3 times as many subscribers this past year than we had at the beginning of 2024. And I'm truly thankful for everybody out there that has subscribed. I'm looking forward to this competition. And as for myself, where I want to see the business go, I want to see it go where I have tried. Excuse me. Kids got me sick. Fun stuff there. That's a whole nother video in itself. Um, our best our best year, oddly enough, when we went from the first 2 years that we were in business, I was doing it out of the garage of my house. And in early 2020, before the pandemic madness really started, um, I decided in January or so that I was going to get a physical location and really try to make a go of this business. And when we first started, our best year as a whole was in 2020. I still don't hardly believe that with everything going on, but I think the whole pandemic madness sent everybody to, hey, I need to get my car cleaned too. And then I welcome all the competition in the world, but here is the number one reason well, I would have to say this is 1A and 1B. Here are the 2 reasons I'm moving the business to Texas. Number one is absolutely the weather. It hardly snows there. Yes, it gets cold in North Texas, but typically you're not going to have, a wind chill of -5 outside with a foot of snow on the ground. Even though they just recently had 6 to 8 inches, and after they got all that snow, it went back to being 60 degrees outside. And the number 2 reason is the amount of people there. If you do a 10-mile radius of where my shop is, it's only about 125,000 people out here in the suburbs. You do that same 10-mile radius there, and it's over 1 million people. And when we first started, I welcome all the competition in the world. But there are so many shops and so many detailers now that it just does not make financial sense to try and stay here and compete with, excuse me again, try to compete with the winners and all the detailers now. There is just not enough population to be able to supply, because you hope, and maybe I'm wrong on these figures, you hope as a business that, not everybody's going to want their car detailed. We all see lines out to the street and soft cloth tunnel wash scratch factories. That's what I love to call them, because we all know that's what they are. They're scratch factories. They're going to keep us in business. And everybody goes there. Not everybody wants to get their car detailed. So you hope as a business that if you get 1% of the population, that would strive for, a pretty decent business. And there used to be 4 or 5 rival businesses here. I know one of the guys, um, and a few of the guys have heard of me. I haven't met them all. And that's when we first opened at the physical location in 2020. Now I think there's 15. And there is just not enough people to sustain a decent business for all these shops, no matter whether they do great or crappy work. I've gotten some jobs from, one of those companies. I'm not going to say who. I don't like to bash who, where, why, where, or whatever, because I wouldn't want that done to me. But there is just not enough people here to be able to sustain the kind of business I want to have. I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm gonna be 52 this year. I may not look it, but I'm gonna be 52 this year. And another 5 years or so, I want to be able to, sit at my desk and have somebody do all the interiors, do all the window tinting. Um, Coatings, I would still like to do that. I would probably still polish vehicles and do coatings, but I want to grow our business. Excuse me again. I want to grow our business, and I have always I have always been in this rut of I get so slammed in the spring and summer that it's almost too much for one person, but I've never gotten busy enough to be able to hire anybody. And I want to change that. I don't want to be massively huge that I lose our identity, but I do want to be able to grow the business. And I don't know what else I can say. I'm excited to be here. Hopefully, I've not babbled too god awful, because like I said, I am not always that comfortable behind the camera. I've gotten more used to it. The little things you have to do so you look like you're looking at the camera, and you're really not looking at the camera, you're looking past it, and all those little nuances. So I can't wait to get this competition started. I thank everybody for going through this video and watching it all and listen to me babble. If you have any comments or questions, please put it in the comments below. Excuse me again. I need to go get a drink. Um, and good luck to everybody else that's in this competition along with me. I can't wait to get started. I want to thank Ivan and Nick for, giving us this opportunity, and I can't wait to get started. Once again, everybody, my name is John. We are Knight in Shining Armor Paint Correction, Ceramic Coatings, and Detailing. We will catch everybody in the next video. Have a great weekend, everybody.